Oh man, welcome to episode 5 of the Shop Cleanout Project. And in this episode, which might be the last episode of this, I was kind of thinking about that before I turned the camera on, which is that's a new thing, me thinking before the camera comes on. But anyway, in this episode, we're probably actually, possibly, maybe, most likely going to do some actual cleaning in the shop itself. Now, I come out here occasionally and I pick stuff up, but when you have things like an old mattress out here, wow, that memory foam got stiff when it got cold outside. It's actually kind of chilly today. But when you have stuff out here like this, and we're going to cut this up because the foam is handy and all sorts of applications, just by the way, but it's in the way. And so there's only so much I can clean up, and there's only so much I can deal with. I mean, so like the other day, I built this box out of some scrap because all we have is scrap lumber. We've got cords and cords of scrap lumber around here. Um, so I built this to contain all these jars and stuff and everything else that I've been putting bolts in, and I need to go through the bolts. But our bolt bins aren't very big, so I can only do so much there because these are the bolt bins. And I have all this stuff I need to go through. I need to go put that on the hot wire. And then you come back here, and I don't have any room either, really. So, even though I come out here occasionally and try to clean stuff up, it doesn't really last all that long because this thing is in the way. And I don't have anywhere to go with anything. Excuse me. So in this video, what I'm kind of thinking, and the reason I say it's going to be the last one is because what I want to do with this video, this episode, is just show the before and after, because I got to I can't do anything with the stuff in the shop right this moment, not today. I'm just going to kind of move some of this stuff that's out here, because there's some stuff out here around. There's no shortage of things around. That way when we open this door here all the way, and that's moved and all the other stuff, we can pull the car over and take it right out that door. And it's very nice to look out this door and see that beautiful old blue Ford, rather than that nasty ass International that's parked over there. So that's kind of what I'm going to do with this video. And then honestly, once the car's out of here, that's the end of the actual shop clean out. Then we move on to shop improvement, building benches, getting the shop insulated somewhat, maybe putting a heater out here, putting lights in, real outlets, and the shop improvement will be a whole new playlist. So there's no shortage of things to move out here. I might film some of it just for filler, and I'll try and film us getting the actual car out of here. But if I don't be too mad at me. And then we've got all sorts of stupid crap over here we got to deal with. There's just no shortage of stupid crap. There's really not. It looks worse than it is. Believe me, it looks worse than it is. And when we get the storage building cleaned out here of all the personal family items, this thing is packed full because, well, we all collect stuff here at the household. We get all the stuff out of the storage building, then all the things that you see along the car will be in there. So like the miter saw will be in there. All these parts will be in there. Did I use these rotors? I don't think I use these rotors. They're for the Mazda. I need to put them on. All the spare parts that I hang on to, like these coils and plugs out of the Excursion. The coils are serviceable. The plugs are junk, but I have a thing about spark plugs. I like spark plugs. Sue me. The oil will be in the storage building, and so it's not like we're going to contaminate the freshly opened up floor space with this. All this stuff will be in there. So it'll look a lot nicer. And I'm telling everybody this because if I don't get around to filming me actually doing the work, if I forget or we get really, really busy, at least then you know what happened. So that's really kind of the plan here for this episode. We'll see how long I can drag it out and how long I want to drag it out for. I can drag stuff out a long time. I'm doing it right now. I'm really good at it. But anyway, yeah, I'll get to working on stuff, and then we'll just come back and we'll see what kind of progress we can make and how fast we can make it. But About an hour later, and I didn't get everything picked up, but I got the big stuff. There's a bunch of little things here that need to be taken care of, but I'm going to employ child labor for that because, well, that little turd can come out here and do something as far as I'm concerned, but it's, like I said, it's not really much to move, so we've just got a few more things. And then this will be pretty well cleaned up. All of that wood there on that wood rack is going to go over to the burn pile. And then that'll be taken care of. And a while down the road, I'll build a proper wood rack because that one there was supposed to be temporary. And that was 10 years ago, actually, I think. No, it was a little later than that. It was probably like 8 years ago. But still, that's quite a while. So I need to throw those away too. Well, no matter. Small progress. All that matters. Child labor employed successfully. Not that the little turd wanted to come out here and do anything. He tried to get out of it, and I'm not going to let that happen. I had to do stuff when I was his age. By golly, he can come out here and do stuff at his age. It's not going to kill him. I didn't even have him do difficult stuff. He literally had to pick up a few little bolts and rocks and stuff, which, yes, I could have done. I just didn't want to. So the past couple days here, we got that cleaned up a while ago. It's all over there on the burn pile. But the past couple of days here, because today is December 1st, see the 800 down there? It is hooked onto the sunflower disc. We had to go put a bearing in the disc, and the 875 wouldn't start, so we had to go to the 800 because it's got better batteries in it, apparently. We disassembled an old disc as well, which we've been meaning to do anyway. But it's another sunflower because we don't really buy anything else. No one else really builds an implement as heavy as Sunflower does in the disc department anyway. At least they're one of the big players. But I digress. Point is, we got this disassembled and up here. Kind of a pain in the butt to get these taken apart because those hangers are never positioned right. It's always a pain to get to the bolts. The hardest bolt to get to is the one that really doesn't want to move. But we got her done. Got it up here. We have a wing and the main frame here. We did not get the hitch off. The pins didn't want to cooperate, so, you know, we'll get that later. But what we're thinking we're going to do here, this is an axle. But what we're thinking we're going to do with this wing is, you know, take a couple things off of it, like clean those flanges off, cut them off. And we're going to use this as the base of one of the benches that's going to go in the shop. That's what we're thinking. I don't know exactly how that's going to work out. And some of you might say, oh, that seems way overkill. And yes, it does. But you actually, when you're on a farm or out in the oil field or something like that, you got to have overkill. You know, there's no kill like overkill. And if we build a bench with this as the frame, obviously legs that are of appropriate size to handle the kind of weight that this thing's going to weigh, plus whatever we put on it, we can put whatever we want on it. We could put a great big tractor engine on it, and it wouldn't hurt it. It'd be perfectly fine. We can put a hell of a vise in it, and it's not going to tip the bench over or anything like that. Although we're probably going to anchor whatever benches we build. They're probably going to be anchored to the floor. We're going to have a mobile bench, because those are handy. I don't know if this is going to be the mobile bench or not, but it'll make a good work surface. That is for certain. That's one of the big reasons we disassembled it and brought it up here. And then, you know, I've got some extra disassembly to mess with on some things. Like one of these days when I don't have anything else to do, I'll take these gangs apart, stack the discs and the spacers up, and go put them with the rest of the extra parts. These scraper bars, I'm probably going to cut them up for flat iron because they are not... Scraper bars never go bad. We've got already a couple extra. I might leave them, I don't know. But the scrapers we don't need. That's some flat iron that we can use if we need. And Sunflower does not cheap out on material when they build a disc. So we've got lots and lots of good iron here. This is the rest of the... That's the rest of the hitch. This is the tongue. This piece here is the wing holder. That is the leveler, and this fold over piece here I think is a stand, and you flip that leg down where you can keep the disc up in the air and you don't have to rely on the jack. I think that's what it is, but I don't know that for certain. And this 12-foot sunflower here, this is what Grandpa used to use. And he pulled it with, what was it? 70-20 Alice. Pulled this thing. Of course, he didn't go very deep. The discs, and we'll go look again. I don't know if you noticed, the discs are extremely small. They're extremely worn out, especially if you compare it to the 20-foot or 24-foot that we have. They're much, much bigger discs because, well, we actually want to turn soil. These are extremely small. These are what we call dinner plates. There's just not much left. But the Alice used to pull this, and a couple other smaller tractors we had after it. This is before we went to, real horsepower. So that's kind of what we've been up to. Interesting bit of progress there. And I don't know what the next step is going to be. Just kind of waiting and seeing. There's a lot of little stuff that has to fall into place. We have calves to work. That's a project we need to get taken care of. And there's some other things going on. So however long that takes to get accomplished will determine when we get back to the shop. So let's see how long this takes. In the interest of moving this project along, what I've decided we're going to do next here is get these tires taken care of, which Mr. Child Labor and I started on yesterday. I had him rolling tires up onto the pickup so that I could stack them full of water, so I didn't really feel like tossing them. And as you can see, we have a few more left to go. We'll mess with that later. He can come out here and do something. What I'm going to mess with is getting the cedar tree taken out. And then we'll get cleaned up around this tree here. And we'll bring in the small stock trailer we're going to use to hold stuff from out of the shop. And we'll get things out from around the car. That's going to be the next step. And I was going to film some of this, but the wind's come up, and I tried doing some other videos this morning, and now my phone's almost dead. The battery's just not holding up like it used to, so I guess I'll add a new phone to my list of things to get. So fun. And so much stuff to pick up. So I'm going to get a good walk around here because I don't know when I'll do the next little segment. But this should give you guys a pretty good idea of what it looks like. And when we come back, it should look much, much better. Well, I'd say that looks a lot better, especially once we get all this stuff out of here into the burn pile. There's a little bit more trimming to do, but that's not so bad. I got most of it done, and my shoulders are hurting from holding the saw. I'm not used to it. This Poulan Pro saw, this 5020, is a nice chainsaw. It's kind of a shame that we don't run it more. Chainsaws aren't supposed to be run for 5 minutes and then put away for 5 months, but that's just how it goes. That's why we don't buy expensive chainsaws, because they sit more than they run. But this one's pretty good. So the main purpose of this little segment here is actually, because I forgot about this earlier, this maple tree right here. I've never mentioned it, but this maple tree is going to have to come out at some point. I don't know when the whole thing will come out. Maybe this year still. I'm not sure. But at the very least, what we're going to do immediately, in the next few days in theory, is take this limb out, because I have expected it to fall for the past 3 years and it never has, but it feels like it keeps leaning out more and more. And we're gonna have to take that out now that the International's gone. That's a big thing we were waiting on. And we'll chop it up and get it out of here. Just showing that in case I forget about it later. All right, otherwise, yep, we're looking much better already. So let's see what else we can get done today. Well, it's been a couple days, actually, and we made a lot of progress. So now everything has been cleaned and is in position. It's also been inspected by Power Stroke Panther. He approves as much as he can approve. So after the last segment, we got all those limbs taken care of. We hauled off the tires, just the tires, and then we moved all the wheels out of the way. We've got a bunch of those. I'll show you them in a minute. And today we just got done raking up the rest of the trash. It was a big pack rat nest in here, like where that old mower was sitting and some other stuff. It was just a big pack rat nest. So we cleaned all that up, got a lot of the metal, most of the big stuff that we could see. I raked a lot of it, took the time to kind of do a good job, because come spring when the grass starts growing and I have to mow this, we're not going to see a lot of stuff. If we get some rains on it, that should settle the soil here and expose anything that we missed. But it went pretty well. I'm not gonna complain. Pretty nice day, not too bad. Got the trailer here, ready for all that stuff around the Pontiac. Well, not all of it, but most of it to go in there. I do have to clean the trailer up just a little bit. Not too bad. Not too bad. Found a nice piece of flat steel. That's going to be handy. Now we moved all the actual wheels over here. I got them organized by number of holes. So these are the 8-bolt or 8 stud rims, whatever you want to call them. These are the 8s, 5s. We have way more of these than I thought. 6, a couple more 6s, and I've only found 2 4-bolt rims. And I think the spring tooth is the only thing that takes those 4 bolts. Everything else, implement-wise, is a 5 or a 6. On the disc, it depends on which hub. Some of them are 5-bolt hubs, some of them are 6-bolt hubs. But going pretty good there. I mean, we're just making huge headway. That's the nicest this area has looked here in ever. I don't think any of this stuff's been moved in 50 years. And now it's all cleaned up. Looks really nice, I think. We'll get a good view from back here. I mean, we're not even close to being done. I mean, there's always more piles, right? But just look at it. That is nice. Now, I also noticed, because I was able to finally get a good look at this side of the tree, I noticed this limb here is not in good shape. And looking at the back side, the rest of this tree is not in very good shape. So we may have to take this maple tree out too. And I would hate to do it because it's really nice. It's decent shade and it looks pretty and everything. But if it's rotted or it's dying, you know, we can't really keep it here. It just doesn't make sense to do it. But it doesn't need to come out right now, so we'll cross that bridge later. We're getting to the point where I can actually show the background because it's, you know, worth showing. So what I'm thinking now, and I might change my mind, I might end the video here. But what I'm thinking is that the next segment will be of me getting this stuff out of the shop. Maybe. I might end the episode here and do an intermediate episode and then another full one. I don't know. But that's the next step, is to get all the stuff on these shelves and everything, or a lot of it, as much as possible, into that white trailer. And it's going to be tight and it's going to be a lot of work, but I think I can get it knocked out in a day. And there's no shortage of things that need to be organized and taken care of, and all sorts of fun to be had. But this was a pretty good day. We're making good progress. We'll just keep plugging away at it. Okay, I have made the executive decision that I'm going to go ahead and throw in this final clip or couple clips, whatever. I don't know how it's going to work out, of this actually, all this stuff here that you see getting taken care of. So by the time I'm done out here, the next clip, you should be able to easily see this side of the Pontiac. In theory. We have the white trailer cleaned out. Mr. Child Labor and I got that taken care of this morning. We threw that tarp over there as kind of a courtesy to maybe keep the rain out, even though it's probably not going to. And the wind's supposed to blow 50 miles an hour today out of the north, which is that way. So we'll see if the tarp stays on there or not. But the main purpose of this little segment here is just to show everybody, give them a good chance to look at stuff, and just see how much is actually in here. It looks like a lot. I assure you, it's not as much as it looks like. It's just kind of spread out. There is some organization here, believe it or not. Even if the organization is basically, you know, instead of stuff being scattered from hell to breakfast on the floor, it's in coffee cans and 5-gallon buckets. That's the extent of the organization out here. I mean, look, I've tried, you know, but I didn't put a hell of a lot of effort into it because I knew I was going to have to move all this stuff again at some point, and we'll get some real shelves and real benches in here. It won't be too bad to get all this taken care of. I was leaning towards making this part of the project its own separate video, but I don't know exactly where I want to start with this. Actually, getting stuff moved. So I'm just going to putter around out here until something gets done, which is usually what happens when I come out here to clean anything. Just because it's just overwhelming. There's just so much of, well, I could move this here and do that, but then I have to do this, and that doesn't make sense because we're going to move this here, and that's going to go away, and you guys know how it is. So it's not going to be on video because that's just a waste of time, and we don't need to drag this out more than it already has been drug out. It also would help if we didn't have to keep dragging stuff in here every time I clean a flat spot, Be nice. But anyway, this is what all we have to deal with. And I know I keep saying this. I assure you it's not as bad as it looks. I've already done easily 2/3 of the hard stuff over the years of coming out here and cleaning things up and shuffling it around. So it's spread out. It's not particularly dense. And on this side's actually easier because I just need to scoot it away enough that I can air the tires up on this car. I've done it before, actually, and the tires, believe it or not, do hold air. I think this front one doesn't hold air for very long, but it only has to hold air long enough to get sucked over and out that door. That's all it has to do. And I think it'll do that. Maybe. If it doesn't, well, whatever. We'll deal with it when it happens. I guarantee you that Kubota will drag it across the floor. I'm not worried about that. So then things like this old sink here, which is not staying in the shop, that doesn't have to be moved. I don't think we'll need to move this bench, and the welder can stay there. We don't have to move it because the car is only 6.5, 7 foot wide, and from the farthest point out on this bench over to that beam there, the edge of the doorway, it's like 8 foot. So it'll be a little tight, but not bad. We've drug bigger things through tighter spaces, if that makes any sense, and minimal damage. Let's just say minimal damage. So, I don't have to do everything, just some of it. And we're ready to go. So I'm going to cut it here, quit yapping. I'll get to work, and I'll show you guys, I guess, what all I got done when I get it done. But it's December 9th, so December's disappearing very quickly, and I want to try and get this taken care of by the end of the year. We may not have the shop ready by the end of the year, but if we can have this car out of here by the end of the year, and we're started on building our benches and stuff, real benches, not whatever that is and whatever this is, we'll be in pretty good shape then. That is the goal. So I'm going to get on it, and we'll check back in when I get done-ish. Well, if it isn't the birthday cat. Hello, birthday kitty. Oh, what a sweet kitty. Yeah. Do you feel like it's your birthday? Do you care? He doesn't care. We don't... One of these days, maybe if he'll stay still long enough for me to do it, I should probably do a little video about old Power Stroke Panther. We don't actually know how old he is. Basically, he just kind of showed up one day, and he was pretty tame. And so we just kept feeding him. And now he's a sweet kitty, and he just goes in and out randomly all the time, every day. He's a very helpful cat. He's a very good cat. Today is his birthday. As near as we, cared to give him a birthday. We don't actually know when he was born, but December 11th seemed like a good day. So anyway, Power Stroke Panther aside, much progress has been made here. And obviously we're not done, but it's all cleaned out. Now you can see the side of the Pontiac here. It is a Silver Streak, if anybody who knows their Pontiacs was curious. And yes, it does have the inline 8. When we get it out of here, I'll do a walk around of it and stuff, or maybe when I get things cleaned off enough, I don't know. But for right now, we're going to focus on the shop. So everything taken care of. We'll go look at the stock trailer in a minute. It's not full, but it's getting there. I have a few more things I can shove in it. And, of course, we have the other side of the car to do, but that's neither here nor there. Got this all cleaned up. It has been a few days since the last segment. Just, as I said, kind of puttering around and moving stuff until something looked cleaner. And now we're at the result of that. Only about 3 days worth of work. on and off. Got distracted with some other things. A sick cow that has required our attention. So yeah, it looks a lot nicer in here, I think. Let's really just get back here and take a panoramic view. If I could ever figure out, we'll move the floor jack. If I could ever figure out how to take proper screenshots from video, I will throw a screenshot of what it looked like before and then after. And it's a big difference. And I imagine on camera, it does look like there's a fair amount of room now. And there absolutely is, but there's not enough room to pull a pickup in here and pull a motor, which is the number one reason we're cleaning this out right now, because that's the first project. Well, it's going to coincide with that project right there. But what we have over here is a bunch of trash. I did clean all those buckets, which have been handy for things. That's why they were out there. I didn't mention that in the last segment. There's 2 tubs of trash. That bag is trash. That box is trash. But there's not really a lot of trash. I've already cleaned most of that stuff out. It makes cleaning up stuff and reducing bulk a lot easier when most of the stuff is to throw away. But that's not the case here. Most of it is to keep, as we can see here. So I don't know if this is a final resting place for the chainsaw. No, obviously the chainsaw runs, but pump jacks. This is, I think, supposed to be a rock sander, a rock polisher. I don't know. That's one of my granddad's things. He likes his polished rocks. Well, and so do I. I mean, they're really cool, but I'm not interested in that right now. This is the shelf that had all the oil on it. I did have to shorten it, but we've got stuff on it, taps and dies, filter wrenches, funnels, discharge hose, mysterious Napa filters that I need to run the part numbers on. I moved all the oil over to this brown shelf and organized it some. I put a bunch of the heavy stuff on the bottom where I could. Got a bucket full of our miscellaneous fluid additives primarily, and also stuff like jack oil, compressor oil, stop leak. That's all in that bucket. Used oil down here on the bottom. That is, splices for baler belt. That's what all that is. And the die to put everything in. Of course, there's the cat. Brass fittings, drill bits, soldering gun, random box of BS that I haven't gone through yet. A random tray of BS that I sort of went through, but I don't remember what all's in it. Mostly U-bolts and big washers. Gear oil up here. Of course, we only have this much gear oil. I need to get some more. Our grease, our air tools. The impact gun is in a bucket somewhere. What do you think? Yeah. You approve? I know it still kind of smells like rat pee in here. It's just the way it is. I need to run some boards across this generator to set this tray of stuff on. And it's no better organized, really, than it was in the shop. It's just more compact, and it's a little bit easier to get to. I even took the PTO for the International out here. It didn't get any lighter, which is unfortunate, but, you know. And then I don't know what I'm going to shove in this tray, crate, box thing yet, but we'll get there. I still have some other stuff I need to deal with. But, yeah, it is, it's definitely coming along very well. I am going to end the video here, because I was going back through the camera here, looking at all the footage and how long it was, and assuming I can only cut off a few seconds of each clip, it's still going to make the video pretty long. I'm trying to keep these videos shorter, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here, because I think this is a good spot to end it. And in the next video, we will finish getting cleaned up around the car, getting the car cleaned off, and we'll get it pulled out. So, like I said, today's December 11th, so we're really trying to put our nose to the grindstone on this, but there's some other stuff we keep having to stop and mess with, and, you know, it just takes time. If we don't get it done, you know, if we don't meet our goals, it's not the end of the world. This is still more progress in the past month than has been made in the past 60 years. Right, Panther? Kitty, 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 kitty. Oh, what a sweet kitty. You are a sweet kitty. You want to say hi to the camera? It's your birthday. You're going to be birthday famous. Every day's your birthday, isn't it? You're not spoiled at all. So anyway, Yeah, I know it's kind of an awkward ending, but before I go off on more tangents and waste more time here, I think it's a good place to stop. So I appreciate you guys sticking around. We're really making big strides here. There's a lot of stuff I've done off camera that I'm not going to mention just because it's not relevant, but it takes time to do that type of stuff. So, I hope you tune in next time because we're really getting to the exciting stuff, if you can call that exciting. And I hope to see you guys back then. So until then, if I don't see you again before Christmas, you have a Merry Christmas, and we'll catch you later. Take care.